Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.
Welcome to Peter and Roughie's Football Show. I'm Peter Martin. Delighted you could join us live on Facebook and on YouTube as well. Programme sponsored by Arnold Clark. We're still delighted to be bringing you our show Monday to Friday at 4 o'clock, or as near as, damn it, give or take the odd technical hitch. But I'm delighted to say Alan Rough, Alison McConnell and Barry Ferguson are here with me. On the show, we'll have a one-to-one with Kenny McLean of Norwich City and Scotland. He's been talking about football down south, what's going to happen there, what his hopes are for Scotland, and of course he's got a wee mention for one of our panellists today. I wonder which one it is. Lots to talk about. Great to see Ali looking fantastic. I don't know if you can see that, Ruffy, but the last couple of weeks she's looked like Casper the Friendly Ghost, but there seems to be a bit of colour in her face now.
Yeah, she's absolutely looking great, and I'm just wondering with the headphones and that one, what time are jets flying off it? Her fighter jet.
Listen,
I've been forced into a new career.
Yeah, don't bite, Ali. As long as you can hear us, that's all we're interested in, to be honest with you. Anyway, lots of people joining us. Hi to Thomas McGee. Hi to Sean McNulty as well. And thanks to Thomas for sharing the stream. If you do get a chance, share the stream and give us your thoughts. Listen, I don't know what you got up to at the weekend. Hopefully you are following the government restrictions as well. What we want you to do is make sure that you stay indoors and stay safe with your family. It's as simple as that. I have to start by saying, condolences to Pep Guardiola, who sadly lost his mum due to the coronavirus. And that's just an indication of how serious this deadly disease is and why you have to follow the recommendations of the government and stay indoors. So we'll get Ruffy, we've got Alison, we've got Barry. I don't know what you get up to at the weekend, Ruffy, but I sat in there and I put myself through the 2002 Scottish Cup final knowing that Barry was going to score an absolute raker. Did you watch it, Ruffy?
I watched it right up until the last couple of minutes, and I lost everything on the telly just before the end. So you have to sort of talk me through what happened after that, as I'm sure you will.
Yeah, absolutely. Baz, I have to say, you must. I mean, I know you had a few jars last night, wallowing in the nostalgia, but you did play well.
Yeah, look, Peter, I'll be honest with you, it's the first time I've watched the game in about 10 years. What surprised me, and you tend to forget the amount of quality footballers that were on both sides. But no, a good night. I enjoyed myself last night.
Yeah, the amount of people on social media who were posting that they couldn't believe how good a player Barry was, Alison. And I don't know if you spotted it, Ali, but he scores the free kick against Celtic and he takes his top off. There's the vest on. Oh, and he's giving it gusto over at the Rangers support. He was loving every minute of it, Ali.
I was actually working at that game, and the memory of that feels very fresh to me. But yeah, I agree. I think the quality from both sides is extraordinary. When you look at the lineups, real international class players. I think two squads were very strong. Both had extraordinary depth. I thought it was a great game. Actually, I'd forgotten just how good a game it was too. I think it's the first time I've ever seen it back. But yeah, it was a career highlight, Barry.
Yeah, one of them. I enjoyed myself. I know Peter's sick of me speaking about this game, but listen, it's not just about like I had a decent performance. It's just the players that you come up against, the quality you were coming up against, and the quality that I was playing with as well. It was a great time to be involved with Rangers.
Hey, it's a great idea by the BBC just to show those games. It was, it was a great game to watch as well. So many brilliant players, as you mentioned there as well. To see Caniggia, and you're pinching yourself thinking, Caniggia playing in Scotland, magnificent. But I have to say, the ball, Barry, from Neil McCann to Lovenkrands is to die for, isn't it? I mean, it's just, there's 10 seconds left in the game.
Yeah, look, listen, a lot of people ask me about Neil McCann and what's your best 11. Certainly Neil McCann mine. I loved playing beside Terry. It just wasn't the quality he had with certainly that cross in that game. But Terry was a phenomenal teammate. He worked his backside off in every single game, and as you says, what a cross pinpoint for Peter. All Peter needed to do was connect with it, and he did that, thankfully.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the BBC have got Roughie a Celtic win scheduled for mid-June. I think they'll be firing one out. I'll tell you one thing: if ever the Celtic fans wanted to get in a conspiracy theory, it was on these games. There's been a good 5 or 6 so far, but anyway, it's good fun. Lots of people mentioning the fact that you played absolutely magnificently well in it, and some people, as you would expect, Barry, just giving you absolute pelters. But that's the joy of Scottish football, to be honest with you. Listen, we're going to hear from Kenny McLean shortly. We're also going to feature Barry in our feature for this week. What we're going to do to try and get you involved, you can do it on the poll on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube. Is quite simply, we will show you 10 of what we believe are the possibly contenders for the best Scottish midfielders to play in Scotland in the last 20 years in the Premiership, in the top flight. We've whittled it down to 10, and you can vote and pick on them. We'll do the defenders and the strikers and the goalkeeper as well. I don't know why I actually picked midfielders first, but nevertheless, we'll get 10 of them. We'll get Ali and Roughie to give us their 1, 2, 3 before the end. And there's lots to talk about. Roughie's Partick Thistle, Celtic as well. And we might as well tell you, as ever, every day, here's a quiz. Okay, Roughie, just a wee quick mention for Partick Thistle. They've given everyone the chance to get season tickets now, and they've frozen prices from last season. That's good news.
Yeah, it's very positive for the club. I think everybody needs as much money in as possible. I think Jackie's got her finger on the pulse here. I think she knows there's been lots of contributions from the supporters. I think they're up at nearly 40, 50,000 of gifts to the club. So the season ticket money as well will help along the road, and it's absolutely amazing considering the situation of where we are and where we have been for the last couple of 2 years. So well done to the supporters, absolutely superb.
Yep, absolutely. They might take advantage of the chance to actually stagger the payments as well, I'm told. Scott Stewart, hi to you. Great to witness Lennon chasing shadows. This is obviously about the cup final. And lots of people saying, watching Roughie this morning, says Mary McCormick. England versus Scotland at Wembley. John Robertson penalty wins the game. Roughie, you'll remember that one, Roughie. That was a great game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was fantastic. Again, John Robertson had no hesitation in taking that penalty. I don't think they were in the game very much at all. So we had a really good side then, and obviously 1-0 was a good result, and to have a shutout down at Wembley was just as good.
Yeah, just out of curiosity, Roughie, and I know Ali can't obviously change the books about on a daily basis, and Barry's decided to go with the drab grey wallpaper until we get him into his man cave to see all his medals and everything. But what about you? You just going to change that, Roughie? What?
Peter, my man cave needs a bit of tidying up after last night, so...
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I have nothing to do with it, Peter. The production team just comes in the morning, and I just come into the room, and whatever's on the wall's on the wall. There's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah, it's just non-stop. But listen, we love it, Roughie. Is that not what I gave you for your birthday? Just behind there.
It certainly is. It's a lineup. The painting of the lineup when Scotland played Brazil in Seville. It's a lineup before the game, and it was your friend that did the painting. Yes.
Yeah, Gio Thompson, what a good lad he was, and is, may I add. Robert Arbuckle, watching on Facebook for the first time. I've been watching it on YouTube and putting some great points in the comments. Robert, if we haven't managed to read them out as well, we will on YouTube and Facebook. And thanks to everyone who sent, so many permutations on how we should restructure the league from 14 to 16 to 18. There's so many of them. quite a lot of them extensive in detail, which means you've put a lot of work into it. My apologies if we indeed don't get round to mentioning them all, because it would take up a lot of time on the programme. Hi to David McCarthy. Always like to see David, my old mucker from my days in Edinburgh as well. Great to have him with us. Richie McCusker and also Ian Breckinridge as well. He says it was a cracking free kick from Barry last night. He watched it as well and enjoyed it. Ali, just looking at some of the news that's coming out, again, this came out as a headline this morning, but I think, Alison, this is it old news? Celtic say that they want to keep the season alive. They want to obviously play it out. They don't want the ending of somebody being announced as champions. They'd much rather play it out. I think they said this a couple of weeks ago as well. It seems to be a consistent line that comes out from Celtic.
I think it's probably everyone's preference. I don't think it's any great surprise that Celtic would like to see it out. At the minute, they've got a 13-point lead. It's inevitable, I think, go on and win it. If it's third as it stands, and I think there's always a question mark over it, so I think it's probably in their best interests that they want to see it out and conclude. I think, to be honest, I think it'd be the viewpoint of the majority. It just really comes down to logistics now and how we do it and if you can do it.
Yeah, I'll tell you another thing I've noticed, Ali, and I'm really worried about it. I can't hear any kids. Have you? Are they in the cupboard? Have you locked them away? By the way, that's the quietest I've ever heard your house. By the way, I'm worried about the kids. Derek McInnes mentioned, Barry, that he reckons all 42 clubs, if there's not another ball kicked, all 42 clubs should get a vote on this. What do you take?
Yeah, I read that article. What Derek said. And I totally agree with it. I think all 42 clubs should get a vote. I think that's a sensible thing to do.
Yeah. Roughie, do you buy into that?
I buy into it. You then have to tell me what is the percentage that you go with. Is it a 75-25? Is it 50-50? Because as we know, when these clubs come to votes, it's self-preservation. They'll all be voting for their own club, quite rightly so. So it'll be interesting to see what has to vote, what percentage to get that passed.
Yeah, Ali, I'm not buying into the 42 of them having a vote. I mean, there'll be a fair few phone calls going around from mates and best mates of chairman and chief executive on that. I think the SPFL just have to stand up. I think Neil Doncaster eventually will look at it. I noticed that FIFA have come out today and said that they want to extend this season indefinitely until domestic leagues can decide their own fate on the park. I mean, it's a big call that from FIFA as well, but suddenly giving everybody a vote. Are you buying into that, Alison?
I hear what you're saying. I know exactly what there are pockets of all. It's inevitable that's what you're going to get. However, I think when it comes down to it, it's probably the most equitable way to do it. I'm not sure that there's any way. I think if you're going to make a decision that affects the livelihoods of clubs, everyone has to have a say on it.
Now, listen, I promised you Kenny McLean. There's some interesting stuff from Kenny. It's good to get an insight into some of the Scottish players playing down south and what they're up to. So earlier today, I caught up with a Norwich City and Scotland midfielder. Well, I'm delighted to say we're joined by Kenny McLean from Norwich City and Scotland. Kenny, first and foremost, have you gone a bit stir crazy there in lockdown in your house?
Not quite yet. Well, I've got nothing else to do. That's why I'm on speaking to you, Peter. No, I'm getting by. It's been okay. I've got a 5-month-old baby in house, so she's keeping me busy.
And of course, the other thing, the key thing is for guys like yourself, you've got to keep yourself fit. How difficult is it when you're actually trying to train on your own and motivate yourself?
It's not easy. Everybody knows what it's like pre-season. But it's just something you need to do. Right now, we've just got a programme that we need to stick to, not knowing the date that we're back. So it's difficult that you don't really know what you're working towards right now. So that's what makes it hard. But we just need to keep doing a thing and keep fit as possible. And when the time comes, we need to be ready.
Yeah, being ready when the time comes is the big question. Do you think the season will finish?
I just can't see it happen. Of course, I'd love it to get finished and love to get back out there playing, but just with what's going on, I just don't see how things are going to get any better anytime soon. Obviously, everybody's in this situation, and it's not nice, but I just can't see it getting done. I think they put a deadline on at the end of June, and I just can't see that at all.
With that in mind, somebody's going to have to make a call sooner or later. A number of Premier League footballers in England have said, "Okay, Liverpool are so far ahead, make them champions." They've got no gripe with that. But for you, it's even more difficult because Norwich are at the bottom. But I'm looking at your games, Kenny. Brighton, Watford, West Ham and Burnley, albeit Chelsea and Man City in there. But they're all winnable games, and somebody's going to have to call champions in relegation.
They are, as you say. I think Liverpool, I think everybody knew that they were on course to win the league comfortably. But at the bottom of the league, obviously, we did have a few fixtures coming up against teams round about us, and we'd started playing pretty well. I think since the turn of the year, our form was good. We were picking up some good results, obviously with the FA Cup run. So we were in good spirits, and we had a lot of confidence and a wee bit of momentum behind us. But it's the same for the bottom three. I think the worst situation is Aston Villa, who have got a game in hand but are sitting in the bottom three. So I don't think you can really call that and put the three at the bottom down. I don't think that would be fair at all.
What do you do then? I mean, some people have suggested, listen, it doesn't matter how long it takes, play beyond the summer before you even start about thinking about next season. Is that the way you'd like to see it pan out?
I think players' contracts come into that as well. That's been spoken about a lot, but it's whether you run into next season and then you disrupt next season and maybe seasons ahead of that. So it's a decision that does need to be made, but I think everybody does want it played out. But just with what's going on, I think it will be difficult.
What's Daniel Farke like to work for?
He's been excellent since I've came, to be honest. Obviously, first season we got the promotion. He's very demanding. But I think you need that. We had a good season last year, and this season, of course, we've struggled a bit at times. But he keeps the belief in the players. He tries to give us confidence every day, and I think as the season's went on, we have got better. We've been a bit naive this season with some of the games that we've played and some of the games we've lost. We've been ahead. I think through December we had 10 games, and I think we were ahead at 8 of them at half time. So I think that shows we were a wee bit suspect, and we shot ourselves in the foot a lot through December, which is a big month in any league. So, but as a manager, he's excellent. The way he wants to play is great to watch, obviously, and great to be involved in. So, I think going forward, Norwich have got the right man in charge.
Yeah, I love the fact that you stick to your principles. He just wants you to continue to play football the right way.
Yeah, it's the way everybody wants to play the game, and it's the way everybody wants to see it played. Of course, at times you need to roll your sleeves up and do the dirty work, but the way we want to play, we've done it all last season in a Championship League that was so unforgiving at times, but we played that way the whole season. Even when times were tough, we always stuck to it. And the big thing about the way we played last year, we scored so many late goals, but it was never forcing anything going long. It was always playing to the final whistle and playing our style, playing the amount of late goals we created by breaking teams down throughout the whole game and then getting the late goals was evident to how we want to do things, and we won't go away from that while the manager's in charge. That's a fact.
Have you guys all been forced to consider wage deferrals, pay cuts, and obviously I'd love to get your thoughts on the footballers are fair getting it in the neck at the moment right across the board, when maybe, as I've suggested on countless days here on this programme, maybe other industries should be coming out and saying that they're taking wage cuts as well, but everybody seems to be focusing on the footballers.
Yeah, it seems to be a bit of an easy target. Of course, we can help, there's no doubt about that, and I'm sure everybody across the Premier League and footballers in general will help where they can, and they'll contribute when they can. There's been talk about the Premier League wanting players to take deferrals and cuts, but right now it's out of our hands really. That the club are speaking with the Premier League, and I think the captains have got together and stuff. So, to be honest with you, I'm not quite sure where that's at right now, but there's plenty of people, including footballers, that can help out there, and hopefully everybody can.
Yeah, absolutely. You'd be more than willing to do it if they asked you.
Yes, of course. I'm sure everybody would. When you look at the work that people are doing while this is going on, it's excellent to see and it's admirable. But anybody who can help should help, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Here. Kenny, you know what it's like up in Scotland. We haven't even got resolution on the title and, of course, relegation as well. And your old team, Aberdeen, have you been surprised that your former manager, Darren McManus, has come under a bit of pressure this season? Some people calling for his head?
He has come under pressure, and I've spoken about this a few times. It baffles me. It really does. I know Aberdeen were in an unrealistic position when he took over, but if you look at that to where they are now, it's incredible what he's done. Really, the cup finals he's got to. The 3 years that I was there, we finished second, ahead of Rangers, and right now he's obviously fighting for that European position. So for me, I don't know what the fans want at times. I think you're always looking for something better, and to be honest with you, I don't think there's much better out there than Derek McGuinness. So for me, I think it would be silly of Aberdeen to get rid of him, definitely.
Let me talk about Scotland. Do you think it's a good thing that we're in lockdown at the moment? It might actually strengthen our case. The more players are back from injury, the more people we have available for Steve Clarke. What's your take on it?
Of course, injuries aren't nice, and you'd like everybody to be fit, but I think everybody just geared up to this game, and everybody was ready for these games coming up. It was just disappointing the way things have went. The whole nation was obviously looking forward to it. A big chance, I feel, that we had to go to European Championships, and I think with the squad that we had, everybody was confident. The quality we've got, I think there's so much more to come from us. The managers came in, put his style across, and everybody's buying into it. We've got some really good players, and we're working in a way that we're hard to beat, and we've got the quality at the top end of the pitch can hurt anybody.
Yeah, sum up your desire to be involved in Steve Clarke's plans when the playoff eventually comes.
I've played in a lot of the games since he's come in, and I love always going away with Scotland. It's something any Scottish player wants to do. They want to go and represent their country, and I'm no different. It's great. It's great when you meet up with the boys. It's always a good couple of weeks, and working under the manager has been excellent. So for me and any player out there, you just want to do as well as you can for your club, and hopefully you're in the plans when it comes to the manager picking his squad. And for games like this, it can take you to a competition like the Euros. It's one you're desperate to be involved in, and that's the way everybody will be, I'm sure. And sometimes you need to be selfish at this time and try and do as well as you can for yourself to get there.
Can we make it? Are you confident?
I am. Obviously, the Israel game, I think we'll go into that as favourites because of the quality we've got. And then whoever we get from there, it's a one-off game. It's one of these things. It's a game to get to the European Championships. I've no doubt that we'll leave everything out there, and I think we've got the quality that can do it.
Well, I love your optimism. I'm going to share that with you. Just before you go, Kenny, and I'm delighted we got a chance to have a natter with you. You played against a right good few players in that Premiership. Who's the best man that you've played against that you've thought, wow, that was special to be on the park with him?
As you say, there's so much quality across the league, but for me, the player of the year this year has been Jordan Henderson. We played him the opening game of the season, and that was when Liverpool beat us 4-0 at Anfield, and that was we had been so used to winning. We had a habit of winning, and we came into the Premier League. We knew we weren't going to win as many games as last year, but you try and be in every game. And when we played Liverpool first game of the season, we thought, wow, that's that was a proper welcome to the Premier League, playing against these players. And Jordan Henderson he just controlled the game. He didn't stop. He's an athlete. He's got so much more quality than he probably gets credit for. But across the board, I think Kevin De Bruyne's possibly the best midfielder in the world. Played against him. So there's, as you say, there's so much quality there, but it's just great to be here, and hopefully we get the chance to play the season out and show that we're good enough to be here.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I definitely hope Norwich stay up, Kenny, and you're enjoying your football there. You certainly played a lot for them, and it would be great for us at Scotland at international level to see you there with a blue jersey on. Just before you go, we're running a competition at the moment. You know what it's like, trying to keep all the fans interested and not talking about the dreaded coronavirus. We've picked out our top 10 midfielders from the 2000 onwards to 2020, Scottish midfielders who played in Scotland. You've come up against probably every one of them, so I'm going to ask you and put you under pressure to name one out of the 10 we've selected. So we've got Scott Brown, Barry Ferguson, Callum McGregor, James Forrest, Lee McCulloch, Paul Hartley, Paul Lambert, Neil McCann and Kevin Thompson. If you to pick one as your choice, who are you going for and why?
One that I've played against, or just one out of that 10?
One out of that 10.
For me, it is a no-brainer, to be honest. Barry Ferguson. Incredible. I think you can go back further than 20. Well, since he's come out, he was the captain of Rangers when he was such a young age, and I don't think we've saw anything like him up here in a long time. And I think you'll struggle to top the player that he was, and what he done at Rangers, to be honest. And a team that was littered with quality, he was the standout.
He's on our programme today, Kenny. His head's going to be as big as anything. He's going to be unbearable on the programme today now that you've said that.
Can I change that answer?
Kenny, it's good enough for me. Listen, we wish you every success and your family to stay safe and healthy. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, you too.
What does Kenny know about midfielders? I mean, honestly, Roughie, there's nothing worse than stroking Barry's ego with that nonsense, eh?
I'm sure can we get his head in this bit here, can we? It's getting bigger and bigger by the minute.
One thing for sure, Kenny knows his football.
Yeah.
That boy.
Yeah. What are 2 days you've had on this, honestly? A cup final on the BBC, people milking. Yeah, on you go.
Regarding Kenny, he was another young kid that got the disappointment and get let go from Rangers. Then he goes on to St Mirren, works hard and gets his move to Aberdeen. Now, after all the disappointments at a young age, he's playing in the Premier League. So I love to see that. I love to see it, and he's a really good footballer, the boy.
It's a nice touch from Barry Allison, because see, when you think about the amount of players that maybe haven't cut it at Celtic or Rangers and have gone on and shown the determination and worked their backside off, Andy Robertson springs to mind as well.
Andy Robertson's the one that immediately springs to mind, isn't it? I think when you're released and you have a disappointment at that age in your formative years, I think it's a real question about your mental resilience and your ability to come back and go on and forge a career elsewhere. I think it speaks volumes about players who do it. And while you look at Andy Robertson and you think, well, he went on and played it surpassed all the expectations that he probably had for himself and went on to play at the very, very top level. Even out with that, if you're released by any club and go on to continue to forge a professional career anywhere, I think it speaks volumes about your fortitude.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I'm looking here, and CB the Third is, I think, out there in Orlando. I'm going to give as many people as possible. Torque Mada on YouTube wonders if Ali's been on the sunbed. Alison, to be perfectly honest with you, it's just that you've worked better on your lighting now rather than the white look that you had last week.
It's just the lights in the room I'm in, that's all. But thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And Roughie always has that look as if he's in Orlando, Florida. Anyway, Scott McCormick in Tasmania. And Gary says, how's Barry? I'm a big fan. Barry is doing well. We've actually reduced his head in the picture today because he's been getting that many compliments. It's unbelievable. And if you are living away from Scotland, you're not aware that the BBC have been showing some classic matches from yesteryear to try and keep the whole country sane. And yesterday was Rangers 3, Celtic 2 from the 2002 Cup final. So Barry enjoyed himself there last night, had a few sherbets and just wallowed in it with all his teammates there in a great victory over Celtic. Lots of people, Kevin White, Steve McLaughlin, hi to you. Lots of people. Donald Armstrong is in Sydney, Australia. Donald, it's great to hear from you and thanks for joining us. So many people. Joseph Chung as well. That's all on YouTube. And I can only go back to Ryan Murray, Jazz Sweeney, Don Clark, so many people on our Facebook pages talking to us as well. It's great to hear from them. And Roughie, you've turned into a bit of a TV production man now. You've started your own channel. You've built your own golf course in your back garden, or is that your front garden? We spotted you in with a 3-hole course.
Yeah, that was the front of the garden. I don't know if we can get another 3 holes around the back of the house, but certainly keep yourself occupied. And, it was just killing a few hours and it was good fun while I did it. But as you know, it was straightforward production, nothing complicated in it at all. I didn't have to look at the camera at any stage. I just voiced it over. But no, it was good. And it's good to get Maggie back out in the golf course again.
Yeah, absolutely. Gordon Watson says, big hello to Barry Ferguson. Great game last night. He watched it on the telly. You played superbly well. And that's from Gordon and Kirsty in Helensburgh. So it's always nice reading out so many of these. John Black joining us. George Mullen as well. George, thank you, because on countless occasions, George has shared the show. And we really like anyone who shares it out to your friends. Let them know we're here on YouTube and Facebook every day. We'll try and bring you a special guest to the best of our ability every day as well. You know what it's like, Ali. I always like to keep my friends and colleagues that I play for the Scottish Football Writers team, always like to keep them with a bit of copy if they're struggling on a day.
Oh, indeed. Indeed. And their struggle these days, I can assure you.
Now, here's a bit of something I want. Yeah, exactly. And you know the great thing about it?
Can I say something?
There, people crazy. I think Barry was going to panic before me.
No,
the panic in Roughie's face there was a joy.
Well, can I just say something to you, Alison? This is the God's honest truth, right? What I say to Barry and Roughie every day is sometimes, because of technology, I might freeze, you might freeze. Whoever freezes, the other person picks it up. And I knew the minute that I froze there, I knew Dunderhead would just stare and then wonder what was happening. And that's exactly the way it panned out, Alison. Am I right?
Rabbits and headlights.
Oh, unbelievable. And this is the God's honest truth. I kid you not, I'm just going to punch the screen to show you this, right? This is the God's honest truth, Barry. When we were working on a radio station together and we were starting this show 8 years ago, I get caught in traffic, couldn't make it for the start of the show, so Roughie and Hugh McDonald had to start the show. And I kid you not, it was like play school. This is Roughie on the opening of the show. Hello? Peter's not here. It's just me and Hugh. Hello, everybody. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, this is when you actually realise your limitations and stick to what you know.
Yes, absolutely, Roughie. What about Barry? What about UEFA? Alexander Seferin suggesting that looks as if the European competitions could be scrapped. They just will not be able to play them at all. You know, never mind looking towards the summer and beyond.
Yeah, Peter, it's looking ever so hard to get the football played. I know they're talking at the end of June, maybe get into July, August. I don't even think football will start back at that stage. If you watch the news every day, this virus is getting worse day by day. So I can see the competition's not happening.
Yeah, Alison, it is a worry, especially, you know, Rangers have got a second leg against Bayer Leverkusen in the Europa League. You know, the more you hear day by day, I mean, it could change dramatically depending on what happens over a 12-week period. But the more you hear day by day, I think people are actually just now resigning themselves to the fact that European competition, gone. They cancelled the Open Championship in golf, and that's July, gone.
The Edinburgh Festival were cancelled. I agree. I think it's becoming more and more unlikely as time passes. You just think it's almost impossible to pick it back up again. I agree with the sentiment behind hang as long as you possibly can so that you can play the games out to some kind of natural conclusion. However, I just don't know how plausible it is when you look at the conditions that we're working with now. I also think that this is a time where you really some leadership. You need someone now to make a decision. There are in Scottish clubs who will be needing the money that comes and the divvy up that would come at the end of the season. I think now is the time for strong leadership and someone to come out and make a decision. There's not going to be a popular decision. There's not going to be a call that pleases everyone, but I think it would give us all some clarity.
Well, I wonder if that call is coming, Ali, in the next 24 hours because the SPFL were due to meet today to discuss it. They've put it back 24 hours, so we shall see. Just on that with Europa League and Champions League as well, Roughie, basically I think this was Seferin talking to Sports Studio in, I think, maybe Switzerland. We can't play it out in September or October, and when he was asked directly if the competitions could be abandoned, he admitted if the authorities don't allow us to play, then we cannot play.
No, I think Alison hit it in the head. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Even the doctors and everybody, they don't know when this is going to pan out. So I don't know how anybody can really look forward and say it's going to be July, August, September, or whatever. We don't know. We just keep hoping that the people in charge, as the weeks and months go ahead, that it starts dropping off a bit, and then maybe could look at something. But as it is just now, I don't know how you could come to any decisions. I really don't.
And here's another little take on this. I'll get your thoughts on it as well, Barry. But Alice, I think this might have been in the Sun newspaper this morning from David Winnie, who was interviewed. Now, David Winnie used to play for St Mirren. He's gone on to become a solicitor. And he's looking at it and he's saying, despite the threats from UEFA about leagues being called early, he said, obviously a number of smaller leagues would be able to challenge, any decision from UEFA. He does not think that they'd be able to give any punishment to a number of smaller countries if they called their league. And even if they did, they would be able to challenge UEFA in the courts. He says, basically, it's some people, if they call their leagues early, you'll get clubs like Rangers and Hearts might be wanting to take the SPFL to court, but there is something in the rule book which basically mentions the fact that if there's an unforeseen event that takes place, then you might be able to call it and win the battle in court because coronavirus is an unforeseen event.
It's real mitigating circumstances, isn't it? There is no one who could ever have foreseen what we're going through at the minute. I also think that some of the smaller leagues, including our own league, have to call UEFA's bluff on it because that's what it comes down to. I think what we've seen from UEFA is a pandering to the bigger national leagues. But if Scotland hang on for too long, the danger is that you have clubs who lose their livelihoods, you have people who lose their livelihoods, and we see clubs going out of business. There's huge financial issues at stake here to keep clubs afloat.
I'll tell you one thing, Barry, if the SPFL call it tomorrow, as ever, there are more important things in life, and I know we all think that, but if they call it at some point and it's early, there's going to be a holy war, isn't there?
Yeah, there is, Peter, but see, at the end of the day, what's going on in the world, nobody foreseen, and it's a terrible virus. So whatever decision they come out, and I've said plenty of times, look, from a Rangers side, if Celtic do get awarded the title, would I be happy? No, I wouldn't. But if that's the decision that the SPFL make, you just need to take it and move on, Peter. There's a lot more serious things happening in the world at this moment in time.
Yeah, lots of people have their thoughts on that, declare it null and void. I could read them all out. I could read thousands of them out on YouTube as well as Facebook. So many people giving us Gaz Maka says, well, maybe not a holy war, but certainly would be a war, Gaz, to be perfectly honest with you. So many people have got their take on what should happen on this and sporting integrity. But as you know, Roughie, there's no such a thing as sporting integrity. I've never encountered it in football, and I've been in it quite a long time.
No, you're right. You know, we've said it for the last month now. It's all about the clubs looking after themselves, and quite rightly so, looking after the employees, the players, and everything. I honestly don't know what our league can come out with. I don't know. I can see where Alison's coming from, but I don't think we're big enough to start taking on the UEFA. I think if one of the big countries had decided, then we tag on to the end, if it was Spain or Italy or whoever, and then we tag on to that too. But to isolate ourselves and have a go at UEFA, I don't think we have. Another thing as well, Peter, could you or Alison maybe tell me why the money can't be handed out just now as it stands, without actually saying, right, you're the champions, you're relegated, we're divvying out the money where you are in the league, and we'll rectify it when the league is finished?
How do you rectify
Why can't
it?
that money be dished out?
How do you rectify it?
If we're saying we're going to wait until play the games, we're going to play the games sometime. That's what we're being told. So say we finish the league in August. Say you divvy out the money as it is right now, and then when the league is finished, you rectify if somebody's jumped 2 places, somebody's went down 2 places, and you're giving clubs money if the money's sitting there.
Yeah, just out of curiosity, Roughie. Hello, is that St Mirren? Yeah, we need £110,000 back off you. I know you were desperately trying to stay afloat, but you need to return that money in a direct debit right now. Is that okay?
Yeah, but you can't have it both ways, Peter. If we're all saying these clubs need the money right this very minute, give them the money right this very minute. Because if you don't give them the minute and we listen to what everybody's saying, we're not going to have any clubs to ask to get the money back over.
Well, Alison, I mean, I understand where Roughie's coming from as far as desperation is concerned, but quite simply, they need to grow a set the SPFL shortly. And if, as the board sits round, someone turns around and says, any club turns around and says, listen, if we don't get the money now, if 5 or 6 clubs said that, we're gone, the SPFL has to literally take a stance, take a step forward and say, okay, this is the decision. Here it is. We'll go to court with whoever. You know, this is what we're doing.
I agree. I think everyone wants to delay for as long as everybody would wish to see the games concluded. I think we've been saying it for the last month. It's how we would like to see it out. But reality is going to be quite quickly. And it's a time for leadership, and it's a time for decisions. And not all decisions that are made are going to be popular, but I think you have to do it with the best interests of all clubs at heart.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi to John Gillen, Jimmy Riddle as well. Great name that, Jimmy. Michael Ryan, Dougie Liddle, Jimmy Drummond, Declan Carr. Lots of people giving us their thoughts. Of course, Charles Denham, very complimentary to Barry and his leadership when he was a player. Hi to Martin Conley, who's in Perth in Western Australia. Martin, we're delighted that you could join us. So many people from near and far joining us on the programme. Share it, like and follow our page if you can on PLZ Soccer, and you'll get to see Barry on a regular basis with Alison and, of course, Roughie. And we've got so many guests that we're trying to bring on every day. We're going to call as many people as we can. Once we get into Roughie's contacts book, Barry, then we really are talking megastars. I mean, if you think, Barry, of the people that he has as friends over the last, 50 years and 3 World Cups.
Yeah, I've seen that contact list. Some interesting people on that list. Yeah, some interesting.
Yeah. Funny enough, I was speaking to Jim Leishman yesterday.
Can I just say, Barry, this is a God's honest truth. When I got together with him, I thought to myself, wow, he's bound to have Zico's number. I mean, he will definitely be able to get us a chance to speak to some of the mega stars that he's had. Kevin Keegan will be on, they'll all be on. And Roughie's only contact that he had in his book was Jim Leishman. Great lad that Jim is, but you can't have him on every day talking about Dunfermline and Livingston.
Peter, he asked me to do something on his phone about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I looked at his phone and it was just all numbers. There was no names. I couldn't believe it.
You know why that is, don't you?
No names.
He doesn't know how to. He doesn't know how to work his phone. And what he does is, Alison.
Some of these might be names you don't want somebody to see.
You're a bad man.
No, that's pictures.
On videos.
Alison, can I appeal to you for? I know. Alison, I'm just appealing to you because you seem to be the only one on this programme with morals left. But the fact is, can you imagine as a journalist working, he has no names on his phone, so you don't know who you're calling, and the only reason he can actually call these people is if they've sent him a text and they've left their name at the bottom of the text. That's how he traces them. Can you imagine us trying to do that, Ali?
I'm sure he must have a black book somewhere.
Oh, listen, see when he releases his second autobiography, that's when people need to dive under the bed and go for cover. The first autobiography, Barry, was Everybody's Lovely. It's a lovely world. The colours are yellow and blue. I had great managers. All my teammates were magnificent. It's a bit like your first autobiography, Barry. The second one will be blistering.
No, I'm worried I've actually told Roughie too much over the last 2 years. I'm a bit worried now.
Absolutely. Listen, I've got it just before we depart for today, and I do hope you enjoyed the Kenny McLean point as well. We just thought to have a bit of fun. For 20 years, we've watched some great Scottish midfielders play in our league, and we decided to put together just a little collection of maybe, listen, please forgive me if we haven't included a player that you think's in there. You know, I know Aberdeen fans will say, where's Graham Shinney in this? But we picked 10 midfielders that we thought might have been contenders for the best Scottish midfielder in the last 20 years. Here's our collection. That's some 10, Barry. If you couldn't pick yourself, who would you pick?
Oh, you've put me on the spot here.
Oh, because you'd picked yourself.
What I will say, listen, I've played with quite a few of them, obviously, international level, and it's a good selection. Hard to beat that. To be one or two that could maybe squeeze into that, but it's a good 10, Peter.
Yeah, it is a good 10. Ali, have you got your thoughts on who you'd pick there?
If you just had to pick one?
One.
I think for me, it would probably be between Barry and Paul Lambert.
Roughie?
Tell the truth, Alison. Come on. You're just saying that because he's sitting there. No, I would. We talking about.
Watch what you're saying there.
Ali, as if you have to justify yourself. Paul Lambert's a Champions League winner. He won the Champions League, for God's sake. But anyway, Roughie, go on.
Oh, no, it has to be Barry. Oh, for goodness sake, nobody could touch him. That was an example of the weekend there. The way he was just looking up and pinging balls all over the place. It was just a joy to watch, apart from the last couple of minutes.
Brilliant, Badge. You get my vote as well. To be honest with you, and it's going to be interesting because we're going to throw it out on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter as well. So there's lots of good contenders there now. Because Barry obviously doesn't want to pick one in the Scottish contingent, he might want to pick one because here's the 10 we've picked for the foreigners. Barry, come on, give us a name.
There's a couple I think should have got in there that you've left out. Two of my ex-teammates.
Go on then, fire them.
Van
fire
Bronckhorst.
them to me. Yep,
Van
that's a good
Bronckhorst.
shout, actually. Yeah, he did eventually move
And
to left
one
back,
of the-
though.
Yeah, one of the most underrated midfielders, but I thought he was one of the best, was Claudio Reyna.
Claudio Reyna is a great one as well. Yep, I'm going to absolutely leather my backroom team for missing him out. But the one thing I would say is maybe some of them have a longer period of time that might get them in that final 10. Who would you pick then, apart from the two that you mentioned, which are worthy? We should have looked for a top 20 to keep everybody happy.
It's a toss-up between De Boer and Moravcik. I never knew much about Moravcik when he turned up over here, but when I seen him hit a corner with his right foot, it went out the opposite corner, and then he went and swung one in with his left foot. What a footballer he was. But I'll go with Ronald De Boer.
He's so blatant, isn't he? He's brilliant. That's why I love him on this show, Ali. Ali, who are you going for?
I'm between Murad and Nakamura.
Ali,
Peter, who are yours? Who's yours?
Well, the reason why I love it is because this is the joy of the show. Because every time Roughie starts laughing, it's because you always nail either a Celtic game that you've been to, and that's because you're the Evening Times Celtic correspondent, for God's sake, when you were working for them in the Herald. But so Nakamura or Moravcik. Listen, I'm going for Moravcik. Anybody who can trap a ball with his arse gets it in my book. I mean, I don't know about you, Barry. Did you go out in Hamilton and think, hey, let's post a video how to trap the ball with your back end instead of kicking it off a wall 50 times? Come on, I mean, that's a skill, isn't it?
I know, Peter, but I'll be honest with you. I mean, I'm like everybody. Never heard of him before this. I think it was Rennes. Was it Rennes they signed him from?
Duisburg, MSV Duisburg. He played in France.
Sorry. And when he came over here, I couldn't. Technically, the guy was frightening player.
Yeah,
I've come up against him a couple of times. I got asked to mark him a couple of games, and he was one of the most difficult opponents that I've come up against.
Yeah, Roughie, who are you going for?
Was Terry Hurlock just outside the top 10?
He missed. He missed.
He's in a different list.
Ali, he's in next week's list.
No, I'm going to go for.
Scottish football.
I'm going to go for box to box. Stilian Petrov, absolutely tremendous. My kind of midfield player, up and down the park all day. A sort of a John Wark style, that just loved the way he got about the park.
Yeah, just as to finish this, and lots of people are giving us their thoughts on who they think should win it. But I have to tell you two quick stories on that. I don't know if you played in this game, Barry, up at Tannadice. I was the reporter trackside at the time. It was Dundee United against Rangers. The pitch was a disaster. It was all sandy. It was terrible. And Rangers won 4-1. And Ronald De Boer was unbelievable. I mean, it was an absolute masterclass from him. And that's what I said to him. And you've never met an introverted Dutchman, to be honest with you. And as I'm standing next to him, I says, Ronald, I said, that performance from you today was world class. I said, that was a masterclass from you. And he looked at me and he went, yes, that's normal. I was like,
do you know, they get labelled with a lot of things, the Dutch, like arrogance, but it was actually a good arrogance. I quite liked that from the Dutch players. But, I mean, he came over here for Barcelona, Peter, and he couldn't bend his leg properly because he had a obviously dodgy knee, but some of the things he could do with a football as well in training, and I would love to have seen him in his prime in terms of like 100% fit. He was great to play with. I had a real good relationship with him. But no, that's Ronald De Boer over the back, what he's just mentioned to you. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, and the last one, Ali, you will enjoy immensely. Lubo, after he'd scored 2 in his Old Firm debut in the 5-1 victory, I sat down with him for his first interview, and I had to get Eric Black helped me with the translation with him. And I don't know if you remember, Alison, but he scored the first one, and he just put his hand up and looked about at everybody. And then he scored the second one, and again he just looked as 60,000 people were going bananas. And I said to him, "What were you thinking? You didn't seem to celebrate your 2 goals in an Old Firm game in your debut." And he just looked about and he thought, I wonder what all the fuss is about. He just scored 2 goals. He thought everybody was crazy. They were going crazy in there, and he just scored two goals in his Old Firm debut. It was outrageous.
The lovely guy. When I've took it really, it is classy off it as he was on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, look. Yeah, absolutely. I knew you were going to say that, Barry. Peter Tierney says, not even a wee bit of bias from Barry, just a big bit. It's got to be Lubo, says Peter Tierney. So everybody's got this.
No, listen.
And Gary Adams says, what does Barry and Alison not get about choose one? Choose one, you two, instead of giving it.
I can never choose one.
Yeah.
I've chosen one.
Yeah.
And mine was Ronald de Boer.
Yeah. What about the Scots one if you couldn't pick one? If you couldn't pick yourself? Yeah.
That's a hard one, Peter. I think the amount that he's done over the last 10, 11 years with Celtic in terms of winning trophies, Scott Brown, and he's improved for me. He's improved the last 3 or 4 years, become a real leader. But I'm still not picking him.
Brilliant.
Were you choking while you were saying that?
I thought he was.
I've come out. Do you know what? I've come out in a sweat.
I thought he was going to throw up there.
Sweat.
Oh, magic. Listen, to each and every one of you, I hope you enjoyed the show today. If you get a chance, follow us on our Facebook PLZ Soccer page. You can also on YouTube as well. Thanks to the thousands and thousands of people watching us on YouTube as well. Tom Flett is watching in Orkney. Mick MacArthur's there. Jay McD, and also Gary Knight. So many people right across the board on YouTube as well. Kevin Carr, great to hear from you guys too on YouTube. Heather Manson, Heather, what a brilliant person Heather is, has joined us as well. Laura Rochford, Ian Workman, so many people joining us and letting us know that they're enjoying the football chat Monday to Friday, 4 o'clock. Live on Facebook, live on YouTube. We are going to let Barry go at this point instead of putting him into difficult situations. And then, Roughie, maybe we'll come up with a competition next week where Alison gets to pick another 2 Celtic people in the category that we put towards. Alison McConnell, it's been a joy. Thanks to Barry, thanks to Roughie, and thanks to you for sticking with us in PLZ Soccer. Cheers.
Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.